Hi everyone, it's Ray, and in this video I will be explaining why I chose gastric bypass over the gastric sleeve and the lap band. I'm not going to do my stats, I just did those in my consultation video, but I will put them below in the description box if anybody wants to check those out as well. So, Tuesday, and today is Thursday. Tuesday, I had my first consultation. I got to meet my surgeon, Dr. Richardson, of St. Alexius New Start in St. Louis, Missouri. I got to meet him and go over what I wanted to do, because I was still kind of undecided on the gastric bypass or the gastric sleeve, but I was leaning a lot more to the gastric sleeve for many reasons. I just did a lot of pros and cons, and I felt like that one was the best option for me, as in less chances for dumping syndrome, which scares the crap out of me because I see my aunt go through it with her gastric bypass. I know I have seen a lot of videos on here on YouTube that people with gastric sleeves still get the dumping syndrome, but my doctor said it's not near as common as it would be with the gastric bypass. Just the healthier the reasons, like there's a few things, and I'll get into more into those. So I went in there, and he went through my paperwork and was kind of quiet in there. He introduced himself. He's really nice. He has great bedside manner. He's really nice, and he seen that I had some health issues. I have GERD, which is it's really bad acid reflux, and I am on, I don't know if I'm saying this right, omeprazole, something like that. It's like you can't get it. My prescription you can't get over the counter. I have to get prescribed to me. It's a really strong anti-acid medication. It's like a really strong Prilosec. So I got that, or I take that for that. And then I have PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's to do with my fertility. And I am insulin resistant due to my polycystic ovarian syndrome, which means my insulin levels are really high. And yeah. So, but I'm not diabetic, but that's a good sign of I could become diabetic. So, I have a lot of fertility issues. I don't have any kids. We've struggled for many years to get pregnant, and just no results. And we did some fertility treatments and just still nothing. So anyway, he took that in consideration. So he asked me why I was choosing, the gastric sleeve, or leaning more towards the gastric sleeve. And I said that, again, and I might have just already said this, I don't know. But that it's just, I feel like it was, the benefits were better, as in, it was like a long list of like things, like the side effects or complications that you could have with the gastric bypass, and the gastric sleeve seemed really shorter. The research that I found online. So he went in and talked about the gastric sleeve. He had a graph, and he told me exactly how the surgery is done and everything. And then he said, but this is the issue. And I'm like, great. He says, I'm not telling you whatsoever. This is your choice. I'm trying to help you what's best. And which is, I was still leaning I had no clue what, and that's what I was waiting for, somebody to tell me what was going to be best, or what they think was best for me. He said with the gastric sleeve, since I already have really, really bad acid reflux, that's the common occurrences with the gastric sleeve. It puts some pressure and makes you have acid reflux. He said if you didn't have acid reflux, he said we would go ahead with that. He would definitely say, oh, the gastric sleeve would be great for you. But he said that his concern is, since I already have really bad acid reflux, that it would make it worse, and that my medicine won't work. And we would have to try stronger medicine, and then it would not work. And then he said in the end result, if we couldn't get the acid reflux under control because it damages your esophagus and stuff, that we would have to go back in with surgery and do the gastric bypass anyway. And he said that's dangerous. It's a higher risks because I've already got the gastric sleeve and they're got to do this, So that was like scary to know. And also he said that if I did go ahead and choose the gastric sleeve, that he would want for me to get a scope done. He says that the acid reflux worries him a lot with that surgery. So I was like, okay. So then he went to the gastric bypass. He's like, let's talk about it. Did the graft again and showed me exactly how the surgery was done. And I'm more familiar with the gastric bypass because my aunt had it done 6 years ago. So I know a lot about it and everything that she went through. And he said that with the gastric bypass, he said that it will get rid of my heartburn, my acid reflux completely. He said 2 months after my surgery, I should be able to get off my medicine because the acids will be left in the stomach that they staple off. And then he said also, they really didn't know why, but there's some with the stomach that is stapled off, the bigger portion of your stomach, when it gets rerouted through your intestines, he said there's some kind of chemical that makes your insulin levels level out, and he said your fertility skyrockets. And that right there was like, sorry, I'm getting emotional, but that was like a selling point for me with the gastric bypass. It's been such a struggle, and I said after, because that was the one thing, I said, how to achieve pregnancy after it, because we were wondering if we were going to, after surgery, do fertility treatments, and I think we decided not to, that we was just going to let it do its course. If we didn't get pregnant, we didn't get pregnant. So to hear that was just, I wanted to just break down and start crying. It was great to hear that and to know that your fertility goes so up, because that's my issue. It's my insulin and the PCOS. He said my PCOS symptoms will go away too, and because I don't ovulate, that's my issue. So I'm hoping it regulates all my body and does what it's supposed to do. So I lost track of what I was saying, but he said that so he definitely recommends me being on birth control, which I was going to anyway, because of that reason, because I know when you lose weight you can become pregnant as well. And he said he wanted me to wait till at least a year before we try and get off birth control. So because he said he did have a patient that he said the same thing to her, and she just didn't get on birth control because she said they'd been trying for years, and she ended up getting pregnant 2 months after her surgery. So everything turned out good, but they want you at a nice, healthy level when you are ready to get pregnant. So after he explained all that, he said, now which one? And I said, I think the gastric bypass, because it just seems, I don't want any more trouble I don't want to have all those complications with the gastric sleeve because of my heartburn. And, I just feel like that's going to be the best option for me. And he agreed as well. And he went through some of the things. He said a lot of people, they find that they're malnutrition and stuff because it is more of a deficiency with that than it is the sleeve. But he said, if I take what I'm supposed to take and stuff, that I will be fine. So, and he said another thing that scares me is my aunt had to go in for emergency surgery because her intestines kinked up or fell in a hole or something because of I don't know. He was trying to explain it to me. It was they get kinked up or whatever, and they just have to go in there and fix them. And she had that, and that freaked me out too. But she told me, she said, I get it. It was not a big deal. I mean, it was a lot of pain. The pain is what worries me. So, but that's basically it, and that is why I am choosing gastric bypass surgery instead of the sleeve. I still really wish I could get the sleeve, though. I just was set on it, but this, like I said, is going to be, I feel, a lot better for me. I don't want any more complications that I really need. So, and I'll be happy that I don't have to take any heartburn medication anymore, because one less medication I have to take. But that is it. My dog's up here. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.